Good morning. Welcome to your Thursday morning, early morning intuitive guidance. I'm Dr. Bonnie Nussbaum here with some words of wisdom to start our day. And we'll give it a minute for everybody to begin to find me and for me to take a drink because I sound like a frog. So, how'd y'all sleep last night? Did you get a good night's sleep? I hope so. I zonked. I was out. It was good. I imagine I even snored. Who knows? So let's start with some breath. Nice deep breath in through the nose, out through the mouth. Good morning, Tammy. You're the first one on today. Welcome, welcome. I always look forward to seeing you here. In through the nose, out through the mouth. Letting the shoulders drop. Looks like someone else is here. Two more people. Names aren't rolling. There's Beth. Good morning, Beth. Welcome, welcome. And Cindy, as always, good morning. Welcome. Glad you're all popping in. We have a little bit of a part out of the Taking the War Out of Our Words book today. So I was talking with someone yesterday, did a session, and he was looking for some options for some things to read. So I suggested outrageous openness and a wee bit early, possibly. Again, once I turn my phone, it doesn't show me the time anymore, and I don't have a clock in the room, and my computer's closed, so there's no no clock. So I'll yak for a bit just to take up space so that people pop on. It is good. Anyway, I did this session with this man, and Taking the War Out of the Words was one of the books that I suggested to him. So much issue with communication these days. I got a phone call yesterday, and I was on a session, so I had a lot of sessions yesterday. It was a busy day. People are moving and shifting. I think full moon is having an impact. But I got a message from someone who left a message that kind of caught me off guard. And I thought, okay, the person she was talking about, I'm like, why didn't that person tell me this directly? And a message just dropped in from another friend of mine who says, I have two different shoes on. She goes to work very early in the morning. I'm sure it was dark, and you know how it goes. I missed that one, and now Gwen is here. Good morning, Gwen. Glad you're here. So, Cindy, I'll pick up your question when I go back to respond to everybody. So, we've got Gwen here. I'm still waiting for one additional person to pop in because I want to do something energetically for her. So, now I've got about 5 stories started and none finished. Let me think. This happens when you get here. It's just like that. Oh, the man I was working with yesterday. I picked Good morning, Joe Bell. I picked Taking the War Out of Our Words as one of the books to offer him because I'm seeing all this communication stuff that isn't going well. Awesome. The full moon is beautiful. Good. And I think it peaked here at like 4 something this morning. So just shortly ago. Feel the energy. Take a moment. Let's breathe. The energy of the full moon. Helping us take a look at what have we accomplished recently. What have we accomplished recently? And that just doesn't mean the doing. That also means the being. Have I really stepped into creating space for myself? Allowing my intuition to guide me. Going to that quiet place within. Have I given myself the gift of time to do that? And most of us will sheepishly need to say no. I will say yes, but not nearly as much as would have been ideal. Tomorrow afternoon, I am driving up to Bobby Silverstone's house. She's going to be gone, and I get to house sit for a couple of days. She has a beautiful place. I'm going to have the opportunity to play with her card decks and sit in the bath of sound that her gongs create and use her bowls. I mean, it's just going to be an opportunity to fill my soul. Good morning, Mel. Welcome. Glad you're here. So, It's telling me we have 4 on here. I know I've said hi to more than 4 people. It's just the kind of the nature of the beast. So what I would like us to do, because maybe she's not going to pop on today, or she's already rolled past or whatever, I'd like us to warm up our hands. And Jonil's having surgery tomorrow. So I would like us all to send good healing energy her way. She's on the East Coast. We're close, Michigan, I think. I don't keep track very well of where everybody is. We're just sending energy for her body to accept this surgery, to heal quickly, to regain function. Healing, healing, healing energy. Just sending that her way. And because we know this is an endless supply that we're channeling through us, it's spirit energy, it's universal energy. It does not deplete us in the process. And in fact, it fills our tank as well. And in addition to sending this out to Jonil for a quick recovery, imagine whoever else you would like to send this energy to. Healing energy. I'm going to send it to all 4 of our top political candidates. Healing, whatever healing is going to mean for that particular person. There's some healing needed there, right? Just sending healing energy. And that's a hard one for a lot of people. I'm not going to send energy to someone I don't like. No. Look beyond that. Look beyond that. There's a soul in there. There's a soul in there. Bless that soul. Send healing energy to that soul. And remember, years ago, someone said to me, politicians are very young souls. In general, politicians are very young souls. That helped me understand some of what happens. Just sending energy. And some of you, do you notice when the energy shifts? Like it's moving on to a different person, or it becomes focused on a different issue. For me, I can tell when I'm done, because it's almost like the buzz in my hands shuts down. So we're sending healing energy to Jonil for her surgery, and anywhere else it needs to go. Anywhere else it needs to go. And I'm getting a little hit here. So yes, eventually I will get to our reading for today, but also want to point out, if you didn't notice, on my business page, I posted Helen Reddy's I Am Woman. Please listen to it. Please read the lyrics. Please read the lyrics. This is so timely right now. I think she did it in 72 or 74, and here we are again. Here we are again. And that is the energy. I would love to see that song. If you want to share it across your platforms, please, 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 let's get a movement going. That song is so spot on for right here, right now. I just wanted to point out that I posted it so that if you haven't listened to it, you can look on my feed and find it. Okay, now for our reading for today. And what I'm hoping this does, taking the war out of our words, the art of powerful, non-defensive communication, Sharon Ellison, is this augments the things that everybody's already trying to do. Oh, good. Well, take the opportunity to listen to it again, Gwen, because, man, what a song. What a song. This is popping up now, this particular part, I believe, to help us with our communication. Because as you watch the shit show that is American communication right now, whether it's media, whether it's politics, whether it's financial, whether it's in a marriage, whether it's parent and child, whether it's friends, and now we're moving into holidays where we get to spend time with family members we don't see all the time. I think this stuff is going to be incredibly helpful. Incredibly helpful. I have noticed a dramatic shift recently between me and my sister. We've worked hard recently, really hard, to try to improve the communication. And we can see the effort on each other's part, which is also helpful, especially when something gets messed up again. So, For those of you who have the book, Taking the War Out of Our Words, I'm on page 211, and it's formats for making non-defensive predictions. But what I want to do is just a little review of the tools that she's taught us as we went through this book a while back. Just review the 3 approaches, and then I want to read a part about the predictions, what we do with predicting things. So, the tools for non-defensive communication involve the question, the statement, and the prediction. And when we get good at even one of these, it makes such a dramatic difference in our lives. So, the question. The nature of the question is curiosity. It's curiosity, an openness, an innocence, a neutrality, and you're inviting. And the function of that is to gather information. So if I say, I'm wondering if you think I can't do this, I stay neutral, I stay questioning, I stay innocent, instead of, you don't think I could do this. Note the difference, and note how the response is likely to be different. One is likely to get you a more thoughtful response, and the second one's likely to get you a reaction, right? So we're just being curious with our questions. When something stirs us, someone says something and we feel reactive, take that breath and ask yourself, how can I ask this question in a way that is curious, open, innocent, neutral, and inviting? I'm wondering if you're thinking blah, blah, however you're going to word it. I personally think it's very helpful to have some sentence stems memorized that you can tap into. For me, one that's very helpful is I'm wondering, because it's not saying you're doing this. It's saying it kind of feels like you're doing this. I want to question it and see. Okay, so that's the question part. Then there's the statement. The nature of it is open, vulnerable, direct, subjective. It's my stuff, and it's descriptive. And the function is to provide information. So it could be something along the lines of, when you said X, I felt Y. Just making a very matter-of-fact statement about it. When you said you didn't think I could do it, I felt hurt because blah, blah, blah. So that's the statement part. Then there's the prediction. And the nature of it is to be protective, foretelling, neutral, definitive, firm, and dual in nature, either this or that. And the reason we go with the either this or that, and sometimes it can be more. There's either this or that or that or that. There can be multiple options. But the point of this is setting a boundary. It's to provide security through predictability. We did this all the time with our kids, right? If you put your hand on the burner, you're going to get hurt. If you push your sister, you're going into timeout. It's what is going to happen. One of the things that typically we don't do, we haven't been trained to do, I know I haven't, is to add the other piece on. So if you choose to put your hand on the burner, you're going to get hurt. If you choose to keep your hand at your side, you're not going to get hurt. If you choose to push your sister, you're going into timeout. If you choose to leave your sister alone, you can keep playing. So putting the other options on it. So, and again, if there's multiple options, put those all out there as you see it. If you buy the blue car, I foresee this happening. If you buy the red car, I foresee this happening. If you buy the white car, I foresee this happening. What are your thoughts on that? The function, again, to provide security through predictability. When dating couples or married couples are the classic with this kind of stuff. You know, if you call her, I'm going to be mad, but we don't follow through with the rest of it. So what I want to do now that we've gone over question, statement, prediction, is I want to read this little part about how clear predictions, when we offer them, create a balance of responsibility and freedom. There's both in there. So, years ago, Fritz Perls, P-E-R-L-S, And Fritz Perls is the one who came up with the Gestalt thing that I do with dreams with you guys all the time. Well, most well known for conceiving Gestalt therapy, made a comment that was seized by the counterculture and later appeared on greeting cards. You know you've made it when something you said shows up on a greeting card, right? The original version read, I do my thing, you do your thing. I'm not in this world to live up to your expectations, and you are not in this world to live up to mine. You are you, and I am I, and if by chance we find each other, it's beautiful. If not, it can't be helped. She says, Sharon Ellison says, first I'm going to take a drink here. While I understood the intention of Pearl's assertion is to move away from controlling and dependent relationships, I do not agree with how this philosophy was and is sometimes interpreted by those who do not want to take responsibility for the effect they have on others. Out of this reasoning comes the all too simplistic retort, well, if you choose to feel hurt by what I did, that's your problem. On the other side of the spectrum is what the fox taught the little prince, that we have responsibility for others forever. I used to like this idea far better, though I also believe that we can feel too much responsibility for other people's choices and become enmeshed in their lives in unhealthy ways. My experience has been that non-defensive predictions can combine the best of each of these philosophies without retaining their limitations. Best of both worlds. We can understand that whether we make conscious predictions or not, insofar as we all create boundaries that affect each other, we have responsibility for each other. We can also understand that by making predictions that do not try to control another person's choices, each of us can maximize our freedom. So, I'm going to read through the various ways, 8 powerful ways you can do these things. But the piece I want to say that I think is most difficult for all of us with regard to the making of predictions is we have a vested interest in one of the outcomes. If you push your sister, you're going in timeout. Good morning, Barb. The opposite. If you choose not to push your sister, you get to keep playing. We have a vested interest, don't we? We are invested in this child not pushing his or her sister. We need to present it as if either option's a possibility, you're going to make a choice, and you're going to deal with the outcome of that choice. Because oftentimes, especially with kids who are working on separation and individuation, becoming their own little being, if they can read mom as having a vested interest in a particular outcome, they may go the other direction, whether they want to or not, just as that way of practicing, I am separate from you. So, be as neutral as you can be. Does this take practice? Oh my God, this takes practice. But So now here are the 8 forms of powerful non-defensive communication. It's just a review of the whole enchilada. For questions, we have 2 different kinds of questions. We can ask about content and we can ask about process. So we ask questions about the content of the topic under discussion. So let's say someone has said, I'm going to buy a new truck. Content would be, are you thinking a green one or a blue one? That's a content question. The second part is asking questions about the process of the interaction, including attitude or feelings that are affecting the discussion. So a person says, I'm going to buy a new truck. And you say, I'm noticing a little trepidation there. Are you feeling anxious about doing that? I'm asking the question in a neutral way, trying to get a sense of that person's process. What's going on inside of them about this? So those are the 2 kinds of questions, content and process. Then for statements, you're describing for the other person in your own words what you hear his or her conscious or overt message to be. So if the person says, I'm really frustrated with Joe, your statement might be, you're telling me you're really frustrated, and I can see that your brow is furrowed. Just description, that's all it is. The overt message, you're repeating what they've said, basically. Second one is share with the other person any contradictory covert message you see from your perspective, including any discrepancies you perceive between their words, nonverbal language, and behavior. So the person maybe has said, I'm angry with Joe. And I feed back, I hear that you're angry with Joe, but you're smiling and you're kind of laughing. They don't fit together in my mind. Help me understand. You're pointing out the contradiction. You're pointing out the covert in addition to the overt, what we see and what they're saying. We've got both. Describe what you perceive as the cause or motivation for the other person's reactions. So I see that you're smiling when you're saying that you're angry with her. I'm wondering if that's about, it feels retaliatory to what happened last week. You're posing something. They can say, no, that's not it at all, and you go on. But they might go, maybe that is what's going on. Don't know. And the last one for the statements is you describe or express your own reactions, your thoughts, your feelings, your beliefs, your behaviors. So I hear you saying that you're angry with Joe. I see that you're smiling. I'm feeling confused. Those aren't fitting together in my mind. Tell me more. Something along that line. Then we have the predictions, and we do it as either limit setting or a challenge choice. So they're both if-then kind of statements. In the first if-then, the limit setting, tell the person how you will respond to various choices he or she might be given in the situation. So again, going back to that child. If you hit your sister, I will put you in timeout. If you leave your sister alone, you can continue playing. It's describing what's going to happen, what I'm going to do in those circumstances. The second one, the challenge choice, is using if-then. You tell the person what consequences you believe he or she will experience in life as a consequence of certain choices. So it's not you doling out the consequences, it's the universe. So it could be, if you choose to drive drunk tonight, I imagine that you're going to get a ticket. I imagine you're going to get thrown in jail. I imagine that, whatever. If you choose to call me to come and pick you up, I'm not going to be happy about it, but you're at least not going to kill somebody, kill yourself, end up in jail, blah, blah, blah. It's a challenge to them to then make the decision that, up to you, you get to decide. But these are the outcomes that I perceive if you make those various choices. In the first case, it's the outcomes I'm going to hand out. In the second case, it's the outcomes the universe is going to hand out. So hopefully this little review is helpful, and those of you who have the book might dig it out again and take a look at it, because as we were going through this book, we did such little chunks because there's so much information here, and it so runs counter to the warlike language that we've all been trained in American English, right? So practice. Take some time to practice. Maybe you pick out one little aspect of this and you practice today. Let's see how it goes. Maybe put some notes in here either today or tomorrow on how it went. That would be awesome and interesting. Have a great Thursday. We'll see you again tomorrow. Remember, you're capable of far more than you think you are, including fabulous communication. Bye-bye.